Let's face it, relationships can sometimes feel like a mystery waiting to be solved. Have you ever caught yourself wondering, is he thinking about me? Does he miss me when I'm not around? Maybe you felt an unexplainable connection but lacked the confidence to decode what it truly means. Don't worry, you're not alone. So, here's the common misconception. Many people believe that if a man doesn't outright express his feelings, he's not thinking about them. But that couldn't be further from the truth. Men often operate on a different emotional wavelength, revealing their thoughts and feelings in subtle ways rather than loud declarations. What if I told you there's a powerful, almost magnetic energy behind his actions, or even his silence, that could give away what's really on his mind? This isn't about guessing games or overanalyzing every move he makes. It's about tuning into the signals, the secret signs that scream louder than words. These aren't just fleeting moments, they're psychological truths, often rooted in principles of Stoicism and human behavior, that will help you uncover what's hidden beneath the surface. Imagine the thrill of finally understanding the man in your life on a deeper level. Are you ready to dive in and discover the secret signs he's thinking about you? Stick around, because by the end of this journey, you'll not only have clarity but also an empowered mindset to approach your relationships with Stoic dating principles that embrace authenticity and personal growth. Let's start with the first clue, one that may surprise you. 1. The power of silence. Does he miss you? Have you ever felt the urge to pull away just to see how he would react? It's a bold move, isn't it? But here's the truth. Sometimes the loudest answers come from silence. You've taken a step back and noticed him leaning in, whether through a text, a phone call, or an unspoken change in his demeanor. It's a clear sign you've been occupying his thoughts. Let's explore why silence works so powerfully. When you stop reaching out, it creates a space, a vacuum that begs to be filled. If he genuinely cares about you, he'll notice your absence like a missing puzzle piece. And if he doesn't, well, at least you'll know where you stand. But more often than not, when you go quiet, it shifts the dynamic. You're no longer the pursuer, you become the one being pursued. And isn't that a thrilling role reversal? Take a moment to ask yourself, has he been the one initiating more lately? Does he suddenly seem more eager to spend time with you or check in, even if he never used to? These are breadcrumbs that lead straight to his thoughts. Silence doesn't just test his feelings, it amplifies them. But what if he doesn't respond at all? Before you jump to conclusions, remember that Stoicism teaches us the value of patience and understanding. Men, especially those influenced by Stoic dating philosophies, may take time to process their emotions before acting. Instead of letting doubt creep in, use this as a moment to focus on your own growth. You've done something powerful, you've shifted the balance in your favor. Silence also challenges you to confront your own expectations. Are you looking for constant validation, or are you giving him the space to show his genuine intentions? When you step back, you're not just testing him, you're also testing your ability to trust the process. Picture this. He's sitting at home, scrolling through his phone, and suddenly realizes it's been a few days since he last heard from you. His mind races, is she okay? Did I do something wrong? That subtle panic is often the first sign of him missing you. And even if he doesn't reach out immediately, that doesn't mean you're not on his mind. Sometimes silence plants a seed that grows slowly, leading to actions you'll notice later. Here's the twist. Silence isn't about manipulation, it's about clarity. It's about stepping back and allowing both you and him to see the relationship from a new perspective. The next time you feel tempted to overtext or overexplain, stop and ask yourself, what would happen if I stayed quiet? Chances are, he'll notice, and when he does, you'll feel the shift in the way he approaches you. The beauty of this technique lies in its simplicity. You're not doing anything drastic, you're simply allowing the natural rhythms of human connection to play out. And in doing so, you're harnessing a secret weapon that every woman should keep in her back pocket, the ability to let him miss you. So what are you going to do next time you feel the need to reach out first? Will you embrace the power of silence and trust that his actions, or lack thereof, will reveal the truth? Trust me, the answer might surprise you. But don't stop here, there are even more signs to uncover, and each one will bring you closer to understanding the man who's captured your attention. Are you ready to explore the next secret signal that shows he's thinking about you? Let's continue this journey together. 2. Dreams and midnight thoughts. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night for no reason? Your room is still, the world outside quiet, yet your mind feels alive, like it's tuned into something or someone you can't quite explain. What if I told you this strange phenomenon could be a sign that someone is thinking about you, perhaps even dreaming of you? Let's talk about the power of dreams and how they often mirror what's happening in our subconscious minds. Psychology suggests that when someone occupies our thoughts intensely, it can spill over into the dream world. It's fascinating, isn't it? The same could be happening on the other end. If he's been thinking about you, whether it's about a shared moment, a recent conversation, or even just your smile, there's a strong chance those thoughts have carried over into his dreams. Think about this. Have you ever woken up and instantly thought of someone, even though you hadn't spoken to them in days? Now flip the script. That's what might be happening with him. Every little detail, the sound of your voice, the way you laugh, the way you make him feel, could be playing in his mind like a reel. And when those thoughts become vivid enough, they might even manifest in his dreams, creating an invisible connection between you two. Here's where it gets even more intriguing. If you've noticed patterns like waking up around the same time multiple nights in a row, it could be more than just coincidence. Energy connects us in ways we can't always see, and when someone is intensely focused on you, it can create ripples that you feel without even realizing it. Is it science? Is it something more spiritual? Either way, the bond feels undeniable. So, how do you know if his dreams are about you? While he might not openly admit it, there are often small clues. Pay attention to the way he talks to you. Has he ever mentioned thinking about you out of the blue or said something that feels unusually personal or connected? These moments might be his subtle way of hinting at the mental space you occupy. But let's not forget about the power of intuition. Sometimes you just know. There's a gut feeling that tells you someone is thinking about you, even if they haven't said it outright. This ties back to Stoicism, embracing the calm and trusting your instincts without overthinking. Instead of questioning every interaction, lean into that sense of connection. Trust yourself. You might wonder, why does this matter? Because knowing he's dreaming of you can deepen the connection and give you confidence in the bond you share. It's an unspoken language, a secret layer of intimacy that goes beyond words. And when you understand it, you can approach the relationship with a sense of calm and clarity, knowing there's more happening beneath the surface than meets the eye. Here's a question for you. Have you ever felt this invisible connection with someone before? If so, take a moment to reflect on what made it special. Was it the way they made you feel, or was it something you couldn't quite put into words? The same energy might be surrounding you now. And hey, if you're feeling these signs, or if this part of the video resonates with you, let me know. Like this video and comment number 1 below if you're vibing with this insight. Your feedback means the world to me and helps us connect even deeper. Oh, and before we move on to the next secret sign, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss the rest of this journey. We've got even more powerful truths to uncover, and I promise the best is yet to come. Are you ready for the next sign? Let's dive in. 3. His actions reveal his intentions. Have you ever heard the phrase, actions speak louder than words? It might sound cliché, but when it comes to understanding if he's thinking about you, it's a truth you can count on. Words can be rehearsed, but actions, they're raw, real, and unfiltered, revealing far more about what's on his mind than he might ever admit. Take a moment to think about him. Does he find small reasons to text you, even when there's nothing urgent to say? Does he offer to help you with things, even when it's inconvenient for him? These seemingly minor gestures aren't just random, they're intentional. A man who's thinking about you will look for ways to stay connected, no matter how subtle they might seem. Let's dig a little deeper. Have you noticed how often he brings up shared memories or moments that were meaningful to you both? This is one of the clearest signs his mind keeps drifting back to you. He might casually mention the time you laughed together over something silly or bring up a song that reminds him of you. These are not coincidences, they're windows into the fact that you've made an impression he can't shake. But actions go beyond words and memories. Look at his effort. When he genuinely wants to see you, he'll move mountains to make it happen. It doesn't have to be grand gestures, it's often in the small things. Maybe he adjusts his schedule just to grab coffee with you or finds a way to include you in his plans. These moments aren't just about convenience, they're about intention. They show that, in his world, you matter. Here's a little secret about how men think. Effort is tied directly to value. When a man makes an effort for you, it's because you've claimed a space in his mind and heart. He doesn't just think about you, he acts on those thoughts, translating them into something tangible. And the beauty of it, he might not even realize he's doing it. It's instinctive, a reflection of how much you mean to him. Now, consider the flip side. What happens when his actions don't match his words? Maybe he says he misses you but doesn't make time to see you, or he promises to call but forgets. While it's easy to overanalyze, don't ignore the patterns, actions, or the lack thereof. Reveal whether he's truly invested or if his thoughts are fleeting. This is where Stoicism comes into play. It encourages you to focus on what's real and let go of what doesn't serve you. The beauty of recognizing his intentions through his actions is that it empowers you. You no longer have to guess or overthink his feelings. The truth is there, clear and undeniable. It's in the way he prioritizes you, the way he makes you feel seen and valued. And when you align your energy with his, you'll know exactly where you stand. Let's reflect for a moment. What has his effort looked like recently? Has he gone out of his way to make you feel special? Or has he been distant and inconsistent? These answers don't just tell you if he's thinking about you, they reveal how deeply he cares. And here's the best part. When you recognize his actions for what they are, it shifts the dynamic. You stop questioning his feelings and start appreciating the ways he shows up for you. It's a powerful reminder that love isn't just about what's said, it's about what's done. So, the next time you wonder if he's thinking about you, look at his actions. They'll tell you everything you need to know. Ready to uncover the next secret sign? Let's keep going. 4. The energy you attract reflects his thoughts. Have you ever noticed how people seem to respond differently to you when you start focusing on yourself? It's almost as if the energy you put into the world transforms the way others see you, and this includes him. When a man is thinking about you, your energy becomes a powerful mirror, reflecting back his interest, admiration, and intrigue. Let's explore this magnetic dynamic. When you prioritize your well-being, whether it's by taking care of your health, pursuing your passions, or simply embracing a mindset of self-love, you begin to glow differently. This glow isn't just about physical appearance, it's about confidence, purpose, and authenticity. Men, especially those attuned to Stoic dating principles, are naturally drawn to women who radiate this kind of energy. Now, think about him. Has he started noticing changes in you? Perhaps he's complimented your new approach to life or expressed admiration for how you carry yourself. This isn't just flattery, it's a sign that your energy has captivated his thoughts. He's not just looking at you, he's observing you, inspired by the way you're stepping into your power. Here's the fascinating part. When you focus on your growth, it can actually amplify his thoughts about you. Why? Because your energy becomes unforgettable. Imagine a moment when you walked into a room feeling confident and centered. Did you catch his eyes lingering on you? Did he seem drawn to your presence in a way that felt almost electric? That's the power of the energy you're putting out into the world. But let's take this a step further. Sometimes the energy you project can make him realize what he's missing. If you've recently been investing in yourself, becoming the best version of who you are, it's likely made an impact on him. He might find himself thinking, she's really thriving. Have I been taking her for granted? These thoughts often lead to deeper reflection, sparking a renewed interest in you. This shift in energy doesn't just attract his thoughts, it also helps you filter who truly values you. A man who's genuinely invested in you will respond positively to your growth, cheering you on and wanting to be part of your journey. On the other hand, someone who feels intimidated or disconnected by your transformation may drift away. And that's okay, because your energy will naturally align with those who appreciate and admire your evolution. Let's pause for a moment and reflect on the power of Stoicism in this context. A Stoic mindset teaches us to focus on what we can control: our actions, our mindset, and our energy. By channeling your attention toward your growth, you not only elevate yourself but also inspire those around you, including him. This is how you create a magnetic presence that lingers in his thoughts long after you've left the room. Here's a question to ponder. Have you ever felt that sense of empowerment when you've chosen to focus on yourself instead of chasing validation? If so, you've already tapped into this incredible energy. And if he's thinking about you, it's because you've left an impression that's impossible to ignore. This isn't about playing games or forcing connections. It's about understanding that the energy you invest in yourself creates ripples that extend far beyond what you can see. When he's thinking about you, it's often because you've become a source of inspiration, a person who stands out not just for how you look, but for who you are. So the next time you wonder if he's thinking about you, ask yourself, what energy am I putting into the world? Chances are, if you're feeling empowered and aligned, you've already captured his thoughts in ways that words can't explain. Let's continue unraveling more secret signs, because there's so much more to uncover. 5. He brings you up in conversations. Have you ever heard your name come up in conversations when you weren't even there? Maybe a mutual friend mentions that he was talking about you, or perhaps he casually slips something about you into a group chat or gathering. These small moments are no accident, they're breadcrumbs that reveal how often you're on his mind. When someone is thinking about you, it naturally spills over into their conversations. He might share a funny story about the two of you or mention a comment you made that stuck with him. These aren't just random anecdotes, they're deliberate ways of keeping you present, even when you're physically absent. The real question is, why does he feel the need to bring you up so often? It's simple. When you're important to someone, their thoughts naturally gravitate toward you. This is especially true if he's proud of your accomplishments or finds your personality captivating. Talking about you becomes a way for him to relive those moments, and perhaps subconsciously signal to others that you're someone special in his life. Let's take this a step deeper. Have you ever noticed that he seems to bring you up in specific contexts, like when discussing plans, shared interests, or even future ideas? This is a powerful clue. It shows that you're not just a fleeting thought, you're part of his bigger picture. Whether it's mentioning how much you love a certain restaurant, or referring to a conversation you had about your dreams, he's weaving you into his narrative. Here's another angle to consider. Men, especially those with stoic tendencies, often express their emotions in indirect ways. They might not say, "I've been thinking about you all day," but they'll find other ways to let you know. Bringing you up in conversations is their subtle way of keeping you close, even if they don't realize they're doing it. So, what does this mean for you? First, it's a sign of how deeply you've resonated with him. Second, it's a window into how he views you, someone worth mentioning, remembering, and admiring. And third, it shows that you're not just someone he interacts with, you're someone who lingers in his thoughts long after your conversations end. Here's something fun to think about. Has anyone ever told you he talks about you all the time, or your name came up again? These moments might seem casual, but they're anything but. They're proof that you've carved out a special place in his mind, a place he can't help but return to. Now, let's bring it back to you. How does it feel knowing that you occupy this space in his thoughts? Empowering, right? Use this as a reminder that your presence, your energy, and your unique qualities are unforgettable. When a man consistently brings you up, it's not by accident, it's because you've left a mark he can't ignore. If this resonates with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Like this video and comment number 1 if this sign feels familiar or if it's something you've experienced. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're diving even deeper into the psychology of connection, and you won't want to miss what's next. Let's keep this journey going and uncover the next secret sign together. 6. His behavior changes when you're near. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the atmosphere shift, like all the energy suddenly pointed in your direction? If he's thinking about you, you'll notice it in the way his behavior changes when you're around. These changes might be subtle or obvious, but they're always telling. A man's body language, tone, and energy are often windows into his mind, revealing thoughts he may not dare to speak aloud. Think about the last time you were near him. Did he seem more attentive, more nervous, or perhaps a little too composed? These fluctuations aren't random, they're signs that you affect him in ways he might not even fully understand. When a man is thinking about you, your presence acts as a catalyst, amplifying whatever emotions he's been carrying quietly in his mind. Let's start with the nervous energy. Have you ever noticed him fumbling with his words, adjusting his posture, or even avoiding eye contact when you're nearby? These are classic signs of someone trying to process how they feel in real time. It's not that he's uninterested, on the contrary, his mind is so preoccupied with you that he struggles to play it cool. Nervousness often reflects care. After all, he wouldn't be nervous if he didn't want to make an impression. On the flip side, some men go the other route. They overcompensate. Maybe he acts overly confident or tries to crack more jokes than usual. This, too, is a sign. It's his way of managing the emotional storm brewing inside, channeling it into an exaggerated version of himself. His heightened behavior is often his way of saying, "Notice me, pay attention, I want to matter to you." But it's not all about extremes. Sometimes the subtle shifts speak the loudest. Does his voice soften when he speaks to you? Does he lean in slightly as if to close the gap between you? These micro movements reveal his subconscious desire to connect. Even if he doesn't realize it, his body is expressing what his words can't. You're on my mind, and I feel closer to you when you're near. Here's something else to consider: his consistency. If his energy shifts every time you enter a room, that's no accident. Pay attention to how he treats others compared to you. Is he more patient, more curious, or more eager to engage when it's you? These behavioral changes aren't just about being polite, they're signs of focused attention, a kind of unspoken reverence that comes from thinking about you often. Now let's dive deeper into the quieter signals. Does he go out of his way to notice small things about you, like a new haircut, the way you laugh at a certain joke, or the way your mood changes throughout the day? These observations don't come from nowhere. A man who's thinking about you pays attention because his mind naturally gravitates toward you. You're not just another person in the room, you're the person in the room. Of course, not every man will express his thoughts in the same way. Some might become more reserved, as if afraid of revealing too much too soon. This, too, is a sign. Silence doesn't always mean indifference. Sometimes it's his way of processing the depth of what he feels. A Stoic approach, often tied to Stoicism itself, can manifest as careful observation and quiet contemplation. Don't mistake his reserved demeanor for a lack of interest. It might just be his way of containing the emotions swirling in his mind. So, how can you tell if his behavior shifts are genuine signs that he's thinking about you? The key is to look for patterns. One-time nervousness or extra enthusiasm could be situational, but repeated changes, especially ones tied specifically to your presence, paint a clearer picture. His actions, tone, and energy are a roadmap to his thoughts, one that requires patience and awareness to decipher. Think about this for a moment. How does he make you feel when you're around him? Do you sense a magnetic pull, an undeniable shift in his focus? If so, you're likely witnessing the outward signs of an inward dialogue, a man wrestling with the fact that you're on his mind more than he might have anticipated. At the end of the day, his behavior around you is like a mirror reflecting the depth of his thoughts and feelings. Pay close attention and you'll start to see the story he's trying to tell, even if he hasn't found the words yet. Ready to keep exploring these hidden signs? Let's continue peeling back the layers and uncover even more ways he might be thinking about you. 7. The emotional connection stays strong. Have you ever had a disagreement or awkward moment with someone and wondered, will this change how they feel about me? When a man is thinking about you, even conflict won't erase the emotional connection he feels. In fact, it often deepens it. Why? Because when someone truly cares, their feelings don't just vanish, they persist, even through the ups and downs. They think about the last time you had a misunderstanding with him. Did he check in afterward, wanting to smooth things over or understand your perspective? Maybe he texted you later, or perhaps his actions showed he still cared, even if he didn't directly say it. These are powerful signs that his emotional connection to you is stronger than any temporary issue. Here's the thing, men often process emotions differently. While women might lean into conversations and expressions, many men take a quieter route, letting their actions speak louder than their words. If he's still showing up for you, asking how you're doing, or making small efforts to stay connected after a tough moment, it's not just habit, it's because you're on his mind. He's emotionally invested, even if he struggles to articulate it. Let's take this a step further. Does he seem to linger after an argument or spend more time than usual trying to gauge how you're feeling? These moments are telling. When a man thinks about you, his emotions don't disappear with the heat of the moment. Instead, they linger, often leading him to reflect on what went wrong and how he can make things better. That reflection is a clear indicator that you're important to him. But what if he goes quiet? This can be equally revealing. Silence for many men isn't about ignoring you, it's about processing. He might step back momentarily, not because he's moved on, but because he's grappling with how much he values the connection you share. This is where Stoicism comes into play. His quiet moments are often filled with deep thought, a hallmark of Stoic dating principles. He's considering the best way to approach things without acting impulsively. Here's a question for you. Has he ever shown you care in unexpected ways, even when things felt uncertain? Perhaps he sent a thoughtful message, offered help when you didn't ask, or simply made himself available when you needed someone to talk to. These actions, however subtle, reveal that you've left a lasting impression on his heart. And let's not forget the little things that hold big meaning. Maybe he remembers small details about your conversations, like your favorite coffee order or the movie you mentioned wanting to see. These aren't just random facts, they're pieces of you that have stuck with him, shaping how he thinks about you even in your absence. So, what does this all mean? It means that when a man maintains or even strengthens his emotional connection to you through challenges, he's telling you something profound. You matter. And when someone matters that much, their thoughts naturally gravitate toward them, even during the most unexpected moments. If this resonates with you, I want to know. Like this video and comment number 1 if you've ever experienced this kind of emotional connection. Let's celebrate those moments that show us how deeply someone can care. And don't stop here, there's so much more to explore. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss another insight into the secret signs that reveal what's truly on his mind. We're only getting started, and trust me, the next sign is just as powerful. Let's keep going. 8. When he's distant, it's not always about you. Have you ever felt a sudden distance in someone you care about? Maybe he's quieter, less responsive, or even seems preoccupied. It's natural to wonder, what did I do wrong? Has he lost interest? But here's a perspective you might not have considered. When a man becomes distant, it's not always about you. In fact, it's often about him. Men, especially those influenced by Stoicism, are known to retreat inward when dealing with stress or internal conflict. Unlike the open, conversational approach many women might take, men tend to process their emotions in solitude. This doesn't mean he's forgotten you or stopped thinking about you. It could mean the opposite. His thoughts might be so preoccupied with his own challenges that he's temporarily unable to express how much he values your connection. Let's pause and reflect. Have you noticed him pulling away during times when he seems overwhelmed? Maybe it's a demanding period at work, family responsibilities, or even personal insecurities he hasn't shared with you. During these times, a man's instinct often isn't to lean on others, but to solve his problems independently. It's not about shutting you out, it's about trying to find his footing so he can come back stronger. But how does this tie back to whether he's thinking about you? here's the secret. Even in his quiet moments, if you've left an impact on him, you'll still be part of his internal dialogue. He might replay conversations in his mind, think about how you'd react to his current struggles, or even use the memory of your support as motivation to push through. The distance isn't a sign of disinterest, it's often a sign of respect. He wants to show up for you as his best self, and he's taking the time he needs to align with that. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. How do you know if his distance is temporary or a reflection of waning feelings? The key lies in his patterns. If he's been consistent in his care and attention before this phase, chances are his current distance is just that, a phase. However, if the distance is prolonged without explanation or effort to reconnect, it might be worth considering whether his thoughts are elsewhere. This is where your own emotional awareness comes into play. Trust your intuition, but also balance it with patience and observation. Here's an interesting layer to consider. Some men use distance as a way to test their own feelings. By stepping back, they assess how much they miss you and whether their life feels different without your presence. This unintentional test often provides clarity not just for him but for you as well. If he comes back with renewed effort and focus, it's a strong indicator that his thoughts during the distance were centered on you. But what should you do during this time? The answer lies in Stoicism. Focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. Instead of chasing answers or overanalyzing his behavior, redirect your energy inward. Invest in your personal growth, strengthen your own emotional well-being, and remind yourself that his distance doesn't define your worth. By staying grounded, you create an environment where he feels safe to return, knowing that your strength doesn't rely on constant validation. Let's imagine this scenario. He's distant for a week, seemingly caught up in his own world. But during that time, you've been working on your passions, spending time with friends, and radiating confidence. When he reconnects, he'll see a version of you that's thriving, not someone weighed down by doubt or fear. This shift not only reaffirms your self-worth, but also reignites his attraction and respect for you. Finally, remember that distance doesn't erase connection. If he's truly thinking about you, that connection will remain intact, like an invisible thread that stretches but never breaks. His thoughts, even when unspoken, will eventually surface, whether through an unexpected message, a thoughtful gesture, or the simple act of showing up for you when you least expect it. The key to navigating his distance is patience and trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the bond you've built, and trust in the natural rhythms of human connection. If he's the right person, he'll come back when he's ready, with a clearer understanding of what you mean to him. Let's continue uncovering the secret signs. There's still more to explore about what's going on in his mind. 9. Small mistakes don't change his feelings. Have you ever made a small mistake and instantly worried it would change the way he sees you? Maybe you said the wrong thing, had a moment of insecurity, or didn't handle a situation the way you wished you had. If he's thinking about you, these little slip-ups won't make him feel any less connected to you. In fact, they might bring him closer. Here's a truth that's both comforting and revealing. When a man truly cares about you, his feelings are bigger than a single moment. Small mistakes, misunderstandings, or imperfections don't shake his connection to you. Why? Because his thoughts about you aren't tied to a flawless image, they're rooted in the real, imperfect person you are. And that's what he values most. Think about this. Have you ever noticed how he reacts when things don't go perfectly? Maybe you were late for a date, spilled coffee on your shirt, or accidentally snapped at him during a stressful moment. Did he brush it off with humor, reassure you, or even go out of his way to make you feel better? These responses speak volumes. They show that his thoughts about you aren't fragile, they're grounded in genuine care and understanding. But let's dig deeper into the psychology behind this. When a man is thinking about you, it means you've taken up a significant place in his mind. He's already weighed who you are, your strengths, quirks, and even your flaws, and decided that you're someone worth investing in. In this mental space, small mistakes don't register as red flags, they're simply part of being human. If anything, they make you more relatable, more real, and more lovable. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Sometimes your mistakes can actually strengthen the bond between you. They create opportunities for him to step up, to show patience, support, and a deeper level of commitment. When he handles your imperfections with kindness, he's not just proving that he's thinking about you, he's showing that he's invested in you for the long haul. Now, let's address a fear many people have. What if he's overly critical of your mistakes? If you feel like every little misstep is met with judgment or distance, it's worth reflecting on whether he's truly the right person for you. A man who's genuinely thinking about you, who holds you in his heart and mind, won't let minor issues overshadow the bigger picture. This ties back to Stoicism, which teaches us to embrace imperfection and focus on what truly matters in life. A man who practices this mindset will value you not despite your flaws, but because of the authenticity they bring to your relationship. Have you ever apologized for something small, only for him to laugh it off or say, "Don't worry about it"? That's a beautiful moment that reveals how much he values the connection you share. His mind isn't dwelling on the slip-up, it's focused on the person he cares about, the person he's thinking of long after the moment has passed. This dynamic becomes even more powerful in moments of vulnerability. When you admit to a mistake or show your imperfect side, you're giving him a chance to connect with you on a deeper level. You're saying, "This is me, flaws and all." And when he responds with understanding, it shows that his thoughts about you aren't fleeting or shallow. They're rooted in something meaningful. Let's reflect for a moment. Have you ever had an experience where you felt insecure about something, only for him to make you feel completely at ease? Those moments aren't just lucky breaks, they're windows into how much he values you. A man who's truly thinking about you doesn't need perfection, he needs connection. He's drawn to the way you make him feel, the way you navigate life with your unique blend of strength and vulnerability. If this resonates with you, let me know. Like this video and comment number 1 below if you've ever felt reassured by someone who saw your worth beyond the surface. These moments remind us that the right person will always see the best in us, even when we can't see it ourselves. And before we dive into the final secret sign, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This journey into the psychology of connection and attraction is just beginning, and there's so much more to uncover. Let's move on to the last and perhaps most profound revelation about how he might be thinking about you. 10. Trust your intuition. Have you ever had that quiet, unshakable feeling deep inside telling you that someone is thinking about you? It's not always easy to explain, but it feels real, a gut instinct, a moment of clarity that cuts through doubt. Your intuition is one of the most powerful tools you have in uncovering whether a man's thoughts are fixed on you. The best part: it's almost never wrong. Let's start by exploring what intuition really is. Intuition isn't magic, it's your brain processing subtle cues and patterns that you may not consciously notice. It's built on your past experiences, observations, and emotional awareness, creating a kind of sixth sense that guides your understanding of the world. When it comes to relationships, your intuition is constantly gathering information: his tone of voice, the way he looks at you, the pauses in his texts. And when you feel like he's thinking about you, it's often because these little pieces have formed a clear picture in your subconscious. But how can you differentiate intuition from overthinking? This is a crucial question, especially in matters of the heart. Overthinking feels chaotic, it's driven by fear, doubt, and the need for answers. Intuition, on the other hand, is calm and confident. It feels like clarity, like knowing something without needing an explanation. When you tune into that quiet inner voice, it can reveal truths that logic might miss. Let's consider some scenarios where intuition plays a role. Have you ever had a moment where you suddenly thought about someone, and then they called or messaged you shortly after? Or perhaps you felt a strong sense that he was thinking about you, only for him to confirm it later with a thoughtful gesture or unexpected comment. These experiences aren't coincidences, they're evidence of the invisible threads that connect us to the people we care about. When a man is thinking about you, he often leaves behind subtle clues, even if he doesn't realize it. Maybe it's the way his energy feels more present when you're together, or how his responses seem more thoughtful than usual. Your intuition picks up on these details, even if you're not consciously aware of them. That's why when you get that gut feeling that he's thinking about you, it's worth paying attention. Here's an important aspect of intuition. It thrives on balance. If you're feeling anxious or insecure, your intuition can be clouded by fear. This is where Stoicism can be a powerful ally. By embracing the Stoic principle of focusing only on what you can control, you can clear away the mental noise that blocks your intuition. When you're calm and centered, your inner voice becomes stronger, more reliable. Let's take this a step further. What happens when your intuition tells you he's thinking about you, but his actions don't seem to align? This is where patience and observation come in. Sometimes people's thoughts and feelings take time to manifest in their behavior. He might be sorting through his emotions, waiting for the right moment to express them, or even holding back because he's unsure how you feel. Trust your intuition, but give him the space to confirm it with his actions. Now, let's address an empowering truth. Intuition isn't just about reading others, it's also about knowing yourself. When you trust your intuition, you're also trusting your ability to navigate relationships with confidence and grace. You're saying, I know what I feel, and I trust myself to handle whatever comes next. This self-assured mindset not only strengthens your connection with him, but also deepens your connection with yourself. Here's a reflective question for you. When was the last time you trusted your intuition, and how did it guide you? So think about a moment when you knew something without needing proof, a moment when your inner voice spoke louder than doubt. Chances are that experience left you feeling empowered, more in tune with your own wisdom. When it comes to relationships, intuition is a gift. It allows you to see beyond the surface, to understand what's unsaid, and to connect on a deeper level. If he's thinking about you, your intuition will often pick up on it long before he says or does anything to confirm it. Trust that feeling, it's there for a reason. As we close this journey through the secret signs he's thinking about you, remember this. The answers you seek are often already within you. By paying attention to his actions, energy, and the subtle cues he leaves behind, you can unlock the truth of what's on his mind. And when all else feels uncertain, let your intuition guide you. It's the most powerful tool you have in matters of the heart. We've journeyed through the subtle, powerful signs that reveal when a man is thinking about you, from the way his behavior shifts when you're near to the invisible energy you share, from his small yet meaningful actions to the undeniable pull of your intuition. Each of these signs is a reminder that human connection is often about more than what's said or done. It's about what's felt. As you reflect on these secret signs, remember this: relationships thrive when you approach them with clarity, confidence, and self-awareness. When a man is truly thinking about you, his actions, energy, and even his silences will reflect that. But the most important takeaway: you don't need to chase these signs to feel validated. Trusting yourself and embracing your own strength is the most attractive quality you can have. Think about the moments when you felt deeply connected to someone. They weren't built on perfection or constant reassurances, they were built on trust, authenticity, and the quiet understanding that you matter to each other. By focusing on what you can control, your growth, your energy, and your mindset, you create a space where meaningful connections can flourish, whether or not you're always aware of who's thinking about you. As we wrap up, let this thought linger. If he's truly the right person, his thoughts about you will be reflected in his actions, his consistency, and the way he makes you feel. And if not, you'll still have the power to move forward with grace and confidence, knowing that you're always enough. If this video resonated with you, remember to trust yourself, trust the process, and trust the connections that align with your highest self. Thank you for being part of this journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue exploring the depths of love, connection, and self-discovery together. Until next time, stay strong, stay empowered, and remember, the best relationships start with a solid relationship with yourself. You've got this.